the CEO of ABC Disposal, Mike Camara. As many of you know, the ABC Disposal Service has been in the middle of our newscasts for quite some time now. And Taylor, you're more than welcome to join me in this. Ask any questions if you have any. And Mike, I don't think we'll have time for phone calls because it's only a quick 10-minute window we have here. But thank you so very much for making yourself available. Good morning.
Good morning, Phil. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. There is obviously so much controversy over recycling now. In fact, some people are even saying, hey, do away with recycling. Where do you come down on this issue now after all the news between the feud between the city and now concerned people who are upset over rejection stickers? Mike, where do you begin this dialogue?
Well, first of all, we're all being affected by an international recycling crisis because of China's national sword. This is affecting Canada, Europe, Asia, Japan, Australia. As an example, Australia just given out $13 million to help their communities deal with this crisis. They're going to be spending another $24 million in education and having the Australian government buy more recycled goods. We really need our government to step up and help every community across this country the same way with subsidies and buying more recycled goods manufactured here in the U.S. out of recycled material. That would be huge. But it's not just a New Bedford issue. Again, it's hundreds of thousands of communities around the world that being affected by the same issue. Many of our communities in our area are paying more to have this material processed. Dartmouth's paying more. Fall River's paying more. Taunton's paying more. If you look at our contract with the city, we're contracted to collect recyclables, not recyclables mixed with trash or unacceptable items. An example is yesterday we rejected several hundred carts. When the loads came in, they were rated A's and B's. If we had not rejected those carts yesterday, those would have been coming in B's and C's, with C being the worst. And the worst means that it's a material that these processors really don't want, and they're going to, force us to try and find other alternatives like disposal for this material. They don't want it that bad. We had a press conference on Tuesday at the transfer station on Sherman Avenue, and Jeanette Barnes was there from the Standard Times, and she witnessed, a load with many items that were not recyclable items.
Right. I don't think anyone, Mike, is.
It was pails with from someone that did asphalt coating in their driveway. Just horrendous. The type amount of trash, wire fences, all these things in the loads. It was very, very bad.
And I don't think you'd get an argument from anyone. There's a lot of these forbidden materials in the recyclables. I think everyone agrees with that. But what do the people do? I guess this is a re-education process. What do the people do when there's a piece of styrofoam there and then a rejection sticker on the recycling bin?
Well, first we were just going to put the stickers out there. Then I said, it's not just about rejecting the loads. It's getting people to understand what's good and bad. So we've actually printed off the city's website what's acceptable and not acceptable. And we're attaching it to the carts to educate the residents as to what they can put in the carts and what they can't. And what the issue is when we get to the processing facilities, they only want to see the items that are supposed to be in those carts in our loads, not the other items. And so they plan to start. Some of the facilities are already grading these loads. Some are starting October 1st. And many loads will get rejected if they don't like what they see. They'll load it back up in the truck and take it away and don't come back. Or they're going to be charging the rates that they're charging are ridiculous, and they plan to charge a lot more because of this contamination. So we need to work with the residents, re-educate them. I feel we're doing a lot more than the city's doing to educate these residents. And the idea here is to improve the quality of the recyclables. So when we get to these facilities, they look at it, it's a grade A, we're happy with the material, and that would help us to be able to make sure we have multiple outlets available to us to make sure this material gets processed and recycled. And that's the plan. That's always been the goal. It was easier before because China was lax and they were the biggest importer of recyclables in the world. Now all that's changed. And we're all affected with this, and it's not just the city. It's many communities, hundreds of thousands around the world.
And so the mayor was on yesterday. Did you hear the mayor when he had his appearance here and was talking about the rejection stickers going on these containers and whatnot? There was no doubt.
No, I was at a lunch meeting.
Okay.
I didn't get to hear that.
All right. But in effect, he was saying that ABC has been placing these rejection stickers on the bins, Mike, without notifying the city as to why. So right there, there seems to be, a rift going on between the city and ABC. What
we did a press conference on Monday at the city's transfer station, and our attorney sent them a letter, I believe, on Tuesday.
Okay.
So we didn't start this until Wednesday morning.
The thing is, I'm concerned about our everyday listeners who call in and they say, I'm frustrated. I don't know what to do. I'm going to take the recyclables and repackage them in these plastic bags and then hide them in the regular blue bin. And I know you're saying you do that, and we won't accept that either because it's forbidden against the rules and regulations. So what do everyday people, what do they do, Mike?
I would say dump the card out, look at the list, and then repackage it, put everything back in there, and make sure it matches what is acceptable, and do not put any of the unacceptable items in those carts. And that's the best way to do it. We need to get this fixed, otherwise we're not going to have outlets for this material.
What are you asking the courts to do in the meantime?
I feel very confident in the work that George is doing for us, George Lantire, and we feel that this is unacceptable because it's an uncontrollable circumstance. We have a situation that's affected recycling that we do, across many communities. That's an international situation. Who could have anticipated this when you enter a contract? No one. It's an uncontrollable circumstance that's within the contract. We feel strongly about our case, and we hope at some point we do not have to go to court with the city, that they'll sit down with us and work this out. If not, we're ready to go to court.
All right. So when you say work things out, are you opening the door to some kind of a compromise?
Yes, we need to get paid. We're not asking for any extra money other than what we're paying as far as the extra cost to have this processed. We built in a number into the contract. We've been very transparent, showing our invoices and showing this is only an amount above what we built into the contract. That's the only money that we're asking for. We feel it's very fair. Rochester is paying us the extra cost. They're one of our contracted communities. We're negotiating with others. I heard mention that we were thrown out of Plymouth. Well, Plymouth decided to cancel the contract. It wasn't a townwide contract. It was a volunteer type of contract. We only had a third of the town. I'm happy to say that we're still picking up almost all the same customers where we build residents directly. So we're still heavily in Plymouth. We're the biggest collector in Plymouth on curbside, and we're getting new accounts or houses every week, 15 to 25 new ones every week, if not more. So we're still in Plymouth in a big way. Still the largest curbside collector in Plymouth, and what's nice about this situation, we're building the residents, and they are paying the extra cost. So the town did us a favor. It's a better situation for us out there in Plymouth. We're very pleased about that.
Have you given the city of New Bedford a new, compromised price as to, because of the added expenses, you go back to the city and say, listen, this is what we can live with?
Again, we're not looking to, the man said, well, they're losing profit. Yeah, we're losing profit because we're paying for something we feel we shouldn't be paying for. This is an extra burden on us that we feel it should be the city's burden. And again, Rochester has accepted the burden, and they are paying it. We feel the city should be paying it. Many communities around this country are paying the extra cost. And look at, like I said, Dartmouth's paying more. Fall River's paying more. Taunton's paying more. We feel the city should be paying more. It shouldn't be on us. It should be on them. Again, this isn't our recyclables. It's their recyclables. And what's sad is their recyclables that are heavily contaminated, it would have been even higher charges. And we're just, I love this city. I was born in this city. We're one of the biggest property owners in the city, one of the biggest employees in this city. Love the residents here. I don't like that we have to, do it this way, but, you can't continue to collect material that at some point they're going to reject and not going to even want to accept. It has to be fixed. And this, I think, educating the residents and, leaving it behind so they can get it cleaned up is what we're hoping to accomplish. That ends up where all these loads end up at an A rating and not C rating, where they're not going to want it anymore.
Sure. I'm going to welcome you to come out, or a representative, to give us a re-education class on what do we do with that styrofoam, or, where do we put these things. I know there are different sources that, you can go to. The city has a website that describes these things, but I think a part of this is up to each and every single individual listening right now who can do better recycling. That said,
if they don't have the list, Phil, they need to go on your website. Obviously, you get the link to get the information on the city's website. If we rejected it, we've left that list that the city has on their website with them so they can see exactly what is acceptable, not acceptable. And I urge all the residents, please, only put recyclable items that are acceptable in that recycling cart. Everything else has to go in the trash cart. That's
the bottom line. In the meantime, I'm going to give you a chance to give the final word here, Michael. But I'm looking at this, and I don't think anyone has a choice. We're going to have to somehow pay more for something that for years and years we either took for granted or paid a low price at. But things have changed now drastically. Not any fault of your own, but now I think everyone is going to have to pay more. Is that a fair statement?
So we're dealing with a new reality in curbside recycling. This isn't going to change. We want these recyclables to be able to be processed at a recycling facility. It needs to be cleaned up, and we can only have what's listed on there as a recyclable item to go into the carts. It doesn't matter whether we're collecting it or someone else is going to come in to collect it. Every hauler is faced with the same problems going to the same facilities and dealing with the same rating. So if ABC wasn't doing it and XYZ company was in the city picking up, they'd be doing the same thing because they'd be faced with the same problems trying to get this material processed. So this is an ABC issue. It's an international issue. It's not a city issue. It's an international issue. And I think because of our track record here, we should be working together to resolve it. And the best way to resolve it is working together to get it cleaned up, getting us paid properly. We've been doing this for a long time. We've gotten tons of letters and calls about the great service we give this city. I hope we can continue to do it for a long time. We just need them to work with us and move this thing forward.
Well, I know you, and I know your family. I know the service. I know that you've been a part of this community. This morning show knows how very important your charity works have gone throughout the years. I mean, this is more than just one issue here. And I think we all can understand that if a new company comes in, there will be definitely higher prices anyway, but I don't know what the effects will be on all. How many employees do you have, their families, all the things that you've done in this community? There's more to this than just the money.
We have over 200 of the best employees you could ever want. They're wonderful people, love them all, and I have the best family, love them too. So we're blessed in that regard. We hope we can work this out, and I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be on your show this morning.
And I wish that you can pick up the phone and come on anytime, because this is a very important local issue that we need some kind of resolve. Mike Camara, thank you. Anything else you wanted to add? I have about 60 seconds here.
I want to wish everyone a happy and safe weekend.
There you go. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Mike Camara, ladies and gentlemen, who is the CEO of ABC Disposal.